morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being at the conference today and for carving out some of your time to hear a little bit about what's going on with John Deere and how we're bringing precision technology to construction. I flew in from Iowa, and I'm used to coming down to Florida to escape a pretty harsh winter and come down and spend some time on the beach. Well, it was 100 degrees when I left on Tuesday, so the tables have turned and we're kind of upside down to come to Florida to cool off a bit, and enjoyed a nice walk over from the hotel this morning. But in all seriousness, very excited to be able to share with you what we've got going on in the physical construction space, how we're applying precision technologies to solve problems in 3 dimensions in an industry that's really challenged. So my name's Jerred Pauwels. I'm a vice president in our construction and forestry division. Many of you may know traditional or more iconic John Deere, yellow and green in agriculture, but we have a very significant $12 billion a year business in construction and forestry, which is where I focus. My experiences have ranged from product development, manufacturing, business development, strategy, and leading significant efforts now to incorporate various precision technologies into our products for the benefit of our customers. So let me spend just a few moments setting the table for what I want to talk about. First, hopefully self-evident to many of us, but I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the need for sound infrastructure. Infrastructure really is an unalloyed economic good for the world, for society, and is really crucial to each and every one of us. Yet the industry is really struggling right now to deliver and meet that demand. My colleague and I were actually talking, maybe we ought to call an audible on this particular talk, ask you all to walk outside and we do a little bit more of a demonstration, because there's an active construction project that you had to dodge probably on the way in, and there's actually some of our products hard at work out there, but given the temperature, we'll stay indoors here. At Deere, we believe the answer to some of the challenges in the industry are to help our customers work smarter, help them work safer, and make the industry more sustainable. And the way we're going to do that is by taking what we traditionally do with our base machines and bringing precision technologies to them. That's happening today. So it's not just a demonstration, and I'll talk more about that. It's actually happening today. I'll close with looking ahead a bit. We're probably the oldest company that will be speaking to you here today. We've been around for 185 years. We didn't survive that long by standing in place. We survived for 185 years by leaning forward, innovating, to keeping our customers at the front end of innovating to rise to the challenges of their respective industries, agriculture and construction. To give you an example of that, just a little over 100 years ago, John Deere dramatically disrupted the agriculture industry, just like when John Deere himself invented the self-scouring plow. That was his invention in 1837 that opened the Midwest up to agriculture. Less than 100 years later, in 1918, John Deere was contemplating, should we acquire the Waterloo Gasoline Engine Company? The debate, will this new innovation, the engine, wrapped around into a machine called a tractor, displace the horse on the farm less than 100 years ago? Of course, we acquired the company and now are the leading provider in the world and disrupted and changed the industry forever, opening up the United States to the industrialization of the 19th or the 20th century. That continues today. Different technologies, different problems, same general idea. So, our mission statement when we think about construction is to answer the fundamental need for smarter, safer, and more sustainable construction. Taking what we do with our machines that need to go to work every day for our customers, making them smarter, enabling them to rise to the challenge. Why do we think this mission is so important? I want to spend just a minute and talk about infrastructure. Again, likely self-evident to many of you, but infrastructure really is a foundational building block to just about everything else that we do in society. I think of it almost as like the base layer of Maslow's hierarchy. Think about how much infrastructure touches our lives. Each and every one of you likely flew out of an airport and into an airport to get here, traversed over roads and bridges to get from the airport to your hotel, etc. Infrastructure connects students to schools, workers to jobs, consumers to retail shops, provides running water, sanitation, energy, utilities. Without a doubt, essential services that are necessary for people to have access to resources, to enable their personal development, and enable human flourishing all around the world. And that's why we're passionate helping our customers rise to the challenge to successfully execute their construction activities, which really is all about funding, maintaining, and building new infrastructure to meet the needs of the world. So here at John Deere, we like to think of it that we are leading the way, bringing precision technology to help contractors work smarter, work safer, and to make the industry more sustainable. I'd like to spend a few minutes just kind of elevating the magnitude of the challenge. Infrastructure is one of the world's largest industries. In 2019, $10 trillion was spent on infrastructure, expected to grow to $14 trillion by 2025. That said, arguably demand far exceeds supply, whether the constraints are funding or other inputs. The American Society of Civil Engineers estimates that here in the United States over the next decade, we'll have an infrastructure gap of investment of $2.6 trillion over the next decade. The consequences of that, back to how critical this industry is for human flourishing, estimated to be $10 trillion of lost economic output for the United States by 2039. $10 trillion. Think of the foregone living standards and human development lost when you don't have the productive capacity in your economy to take advantage of $10 trillion of economic opportunity. I wanted to share with you a headline. I was reading on the Wall Street Journal. It was very timely on my flight down earlier this week. As you're probably aware, infrastructure is always a very popular political topic in Washington. Everybody likes the idea of building things, roads and bridges, but nobody can ever agree how to pay for it. Well, this year, they finally came to agreement as to how we're going to pay for it. But the headline, labor shortage stymies construction work as $1 trillion infrastructure spending kicks in. So contractors are trying to attract people with benefits from housing allowances, signing bonuses, and finding ways to attract and retain workers. So we finally have a path to funding some of this infrastructure. Now the supply side of the industry is going, I can't find enough people to get the job done. We've got customers with backlogs up to 4 years. 4 years of work, and they can't grow their businesses because of labor. That leads me to the second block on the chart in front of you, which is how can we help our customers work smarter? The traditional way of making our customers more productive is make the machines bigger, put more horsepower, get more work done with a physical machine. That begins to plateau. That has limitations. 30% of all work is not for want of horsepower. 30% of all work and resources on a typical job site is waste and rework. We believe with our machines we can attack and help our customers resolve up to half of that. Back at the end of March, we had a group of customers at one of our factory operations in Kernersville, big proponent of precision technologies on this construction equipment. He said, it does two things for me. One, the young kids love it. It helps me attract workers to my business, and some of the best workers, because they want the technology on the machine. They can't get off it and repair it themselves, but they sure do like to operate the equipment with the new technology on it. Even more powerful, he said, I can do the work of a competitor with twice as many employees that does not use this technology if I put it to work. So very powerful opportunities to unlock that we're just getting started on. Third, we want to help our customers work safer. Construction today still is disproportionately responsible for workplace deaths in the United States. See the statistic up there, nearly 20 deaths per week. We cannot and will not accept that, and we are committed to find ways to help our customers keep their employees safe. Finally, without a doubt, the industry does have an impact on the planet. There are things that we can do to make this industry more sustainable. You'll note I said we're in the construction and forestry business. We believe we play a big part, for example, in promoting the use of renewable building materials such as lumber. We've been using lumber for a long time, but it is a fact that lumber is a tremendous carbon sink. You use lumber instead of steel or concrete, you're going to store away that carbon in a structure for decades while you're growing a new forest to replace what was harvested the first time. We also have a considerable road building business, and we've got a really cool technology that you think of rehabilitating an existing road that's failing, and you grind off the surface and you bring in new asphalt and repave it. This technology can grind off the existing material on the pavement, recycle it on the spot, and repave it without ever taking it away, obviating the need to bring in new material, to produce the new material, gets the job done exponentially faster, saves up to 80% of the money and time to get that job done, putting the road back into service while reducing the impact of the environment. The opportunities in this industry are truly extraordinary to be more productive, do the job right the first time, and eliminate waste. So let me dig in a little bit deeper when we talk about precision technology. What exactly do we mean? And what I'm going to talk about, you could drive 45 minutes down the road to northern Miami to Dobbs Equipment and purchase one of these machines with these capabilities on it today and put it to work on a job site next week. These machines are going to leverage technology such as GPS and GNSS positioning, connectivity, software, among others, with the end game being to make sure that machine does exactly what it's supposed to do, nothing more, nothing less, and gets the job done right the first time. Why is that so important? Every construction job site is a little bit like a snowflake. While they kind of, at a high level, they look similar, there's no job site in the world that's ever been done that looks like the one just outside these doors. It's got many different attributes that the contractor has to devise a plan and execute to get it right to specification. Taking that down one step, a lot of our customers tend to be in the site preparation business. So we're less in vertical construction, but more in the preparation of the site, some of the activity that you're seeing out there. The goal is to get the site to the specified grade in preparation for whatever is going to be built on top of it, whether that be a parking lot, a parking garage, a hospital, a golf course, whatever the case might be. And the grade means getting the surface of the earth flattened, contoured to whatever that exact specification is within the accuracy of 1 inch to meet that requirement. So, that machine that you see on the slide in front of you, it's called a motor grader, and in the middle, it's got a blade on it that the operator used to work the earth. Weighs 50,000 pounds. It's probably the most complex piece of machinery that we produce to operate. And they have to take that grader and operate it to get it within 1 inch. And the consequences of not meeting that specification is if you take off too much or not enough, you may have to rework it and do it over again. Either take more material off or you may have to backfill it. It may have the consequence of having to lay more, in the case of a road, bed material. Very expensive when you start talking laying it over hundreds and hundreds of miles. There could be penalties. And this is an industry where the margins are razor thin for our customers. Any kind of rework and additional cost makes their job much more difficult and inhibits their profitability. With the precision technology in this machine, which an operator, and think about the challenges, the operators that run this particular machine it can take 15 to 20 years to truly be an expert operator. So rewind back to what I said about the customer from New York that said, I'm getting the stuff with the technology so I can attract new kids to the industry because we don't have enough people. These people don't exist anymore. And it's limiting the ability of contractors to take on more work and to get jobs done. With the precision technology that you can go down and buy at Dobbs Equipment this afternoon if you were so inclined, you could be trained within a week to do what it used to take an operator 15 to 20 years. Tremendous opportunity to help our customers solve their labor issues and attack that 30% of waste and rework inherent in nearly every job. So that's what's beginning to happen today across many of our construction products. What's coming down the line, because we're not stopping with innovation, the challenges are more than just controlling the blade to get a job site to the appropriate grade and to get it right the first time. When we look ahead, we see several opportunities. Electrification. John Deere in the construction equipment industry is going to help to lead this industry to the transition of a more sustainable energy future. These products, particularly the small ones, lend themselves to battery electric vehicles. But even today, increasingly we're seeing machines where we're putting electrified components, still powered by a diesel engine, but those electrified components are radically more efficient. Fuel savings of up to 40%. We're talking big machines that consume a lot of fuel. Improved operating characteristics make the customer more productive. That's on a transition to full battery electric vehicles, which not only are more sustainable and help the environment, they actually help customers solve real problems and how they're going to get a job done. So for example, think about a customer who has to work underground or indoors. Diesel fuel emissions are going to be a workplace hazard, and they have to deal with that. A battery electric vehicle resolves that problem for them. Another instance might be in sensitive urban areas. You're working next to a hospital or a school. The noise factor, an electric vehicle works much quieter. So customers are beginning to increasingly demand, we need the capabilities that a battery electric vehicle offers to us. Those are going to be part of the future of construction equipment. Autonomy. Talked about the labor challenge. It's real, it's significant, it's a bottleneck in our supply chain, it's a bottleneck for our dealers, it's a bottleneck for our customers. Over time, these machines will get smarter through the use of machine learning and autonomy in construction equipment. Today we have, in our ag business, we have machines that'll track themselves. We've released an autonomous tractor. Those technologies are also coming to construction equipment. And as you get a piece of equipment that interfaces with its environment, you collect more data, you train that machine how to react in that complex environment, it's going to get smarter over time. We will continue to automate further tasks for our customers on a journey to an autonomous vehicle, and maybe even one day to a fully autonomous job site to help customers address the problem of labor. Finally, digital. You heard some conversation about digital twins earlier. Digital twins are going to be very important in construction. The value chain for a construction project, from planning all the way to vertical construction and commissioning, is very complex. There's a lot of data that gets created. For our business, we will capture what every single machine did and where it was when it did it digitally, geospatially reference it, so a customer can now make that data available to either an upstream or downstream user of that information. A good example, one way that a road authority might validate that the contractor built a road properly is they have to do destructive testing. They'll put a probe in it, and then they'll have to examine the contents of, did you meet the specification? In the future, if you have an accurate digital twin of exactly what you did on every square inch of that road, that might mitigate the need to actually do the destructive test, and you just provide the evidence of what you did through digital documentation. It's also going to be very important to help job site managers manage the job site. More data about what their machines are doing, how they're being utilized, orchestrating the activities of those machines to where you may not even have an operator in every one, but you have a one-to-many relationship of an overseer, supervisor to machines, leveraging digital data. And as those machines get smarter over time, additional tasks get automated, the span of control of an operator to machine has the potential to grow, again, helping customers to address their labor problem. So that was a bit of an overview of some of the things that we have going at John Deere, how we're bringing precision construction to the 3D world of construction, not just making our machines bigger and stronger, which has been part of our traditional value proposition, but making them smarter, giving them eyes, giving them a brain, and helping them to make decisions that'll help customers work safer, work smarter, be more productive, do more with less, be more profitable, and from our standpoint, enable the supply side of this industry to be able to respond to the very real needs to deliver infrastructure, which clearly is deficient, not only in this country, but in many parts of the world. So I thank you very much for your attention this morning. Was really excited to be able to share with you what we're up to, the fact that we're doing it in the hands of real customers, solving real problems today, and that there's more to come. So thank you.